So real quick before I start this video, I just wanted to thank all of you for the massive support. I mean, 2 months ago, I was at 168 subscribers, and now I'm almost at 25,000 subscribers. Because of this, in the next month or so, because I've been monetized, because you guys have been so supportive, you've been watching my videos, I am going to be able to become a full-time content creator around March 25th. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. You have no idea what it means to me. For years, I've been a life coach, and anytime I can't fill the gaps financially as a life coach, I have to do Uber Eats. So it's been tough. And now I may not have to do that anymore. And it's because of you guys. So just wanted to say thank you. I'll keep it short, but yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's get into it.
Elon, we have over 150 government within the World Government Summit, global leaders. They have 8 billion customers, their citizen. How government can use Twitter better to serve its citizen?
See, now that's what I like to hear. I like us to be referred to as customers rather than products. Am I right? I mean, it's like a step up, you know? I felt like we were products for a while, but it's good to know that we're customers, you know? Customers always right. Am I right? This is actually the World Government Summit. And Elon Musk actually says something really important to that whole crowd of people. And it's about a one world government. World government is a concept of a single political authority with jurisdiction over all humanity. It is conceived in a variety of forms, from tyrannical to democratic, which reflects its wide array of proponents and detractors, and how it could be dangerous for us as a species to move towards a one world government. Kind of almost in the same sense that Elon Musk doesn't want us to be a one planet species. He wants us to be a multi-planet species. I think he's thinking the same way in regards to the government. But when he says this to this crowd that it obviously does not feel the same way as him, it's kind of funny. And he's kind of aware of it too.
And I know this is called the World Government Summit, but I think we should be maybe a little bit concerned about actually becoming too much of a single world government.
Now, just so you know, I didn't add those cricket sounds. That was just in the audio. It was probably the crickets that they were all eating, but nonetheless, the crowd fell silent. And they all just kind of stare at Elon as he's pretty much opposing what the entire summit is about. It's about governments coming together, working together in what I feel is a more than cooperative way. Again, this whole one world government thing has been in the works, seemingly in the works. Tinfoil hats over there. I'm not going to put it on. Seemingly in the works for a long time. And I feel like Elon feels. I feel like it's not the way to move. It's not the way to go. It won't benefit anyone but the people who are in this, this body that's governing all of us. I don't know if it'll help us. And I think there'll have to be a massive amount of control, like more than there is now, in order to enforce it.
If I may say that we want to avoid creating a civilizational risk by having, frankly, this may sound a little odd, too much cooperation between governments. If you look at, say, at history and the rise and fall of civilizations, that really all throughout history, civilizations have risen and fallen, but it hasn't meant the doom of humanity as a whole, because there've been all these separate civilizations that were separated by great distances. And so, say like while Rome was falling, Islam was rising, and so you had like you know, the sort of caliphate doing incredibly well while Rome was doing terribly. And that actually ended up being a source of preservation of knowledge and many scientific advancements. And so, so I think we want to be a little bit cautious about being
We
too
are
much of a
leaving
world of a
immediately.
single,
I did not come here to hear
civilization,
this
because if we are
nonsense.
too much of a single civilization, then if the whole thing may collapse.
I know it seems like it's me that's doing that. That's what it seems like, but it's not. It's not. It's just how the crowd felt. They were getting up and grow. They were just leaving. They were just like whole rows were getting up and just being like, I'm out. I'm out. You know, why should I take this from the guy who's putting microchips in everybody's heads? There has to be at least one guy that thought that. He was like, you're chipping everybody up, and I got to listen to you about this? Give me my one world government. But exactly to what he just said, he kind of is thinking in the same range of like the same reason he wants us to be able to live off of this planet for us to colonize Mars. Because if something goes bad on Earth, we still have Mars. And then we work towards another planet. And if something goes bad on Mars, then we're able to keep going. And it actually is a really good point. I never even thought of that because like his example is good, but like even think about ancient Egypt. Like when ancient Egypt fell, the whole world didn't fall, right? There was still Rome, and how much Rome had to do with that happening, I'm unsure of, but probably a little bit. But, even if something happened to Rome, like there was other civilizations, erecting, developing, evolving, making breakthroughs. So it's like, it's really good for us to do it that way. Always good to cooperate. Just like individuals, always good for us to cooperate. Never good for us all to think the same, right? If we all think the same, then new ideas don't get the spark. If we're always, I know I've said it to people, I don't know about you, but I've always said to people, you don't want to live in an echo chamber. You kind of want people who disagree with you. Right? It makes you strengthen your ideas. It makes you, it forces you to have some confidence in what you're saying. It forces you to think about what you're saying. And if you're wrong, it forces you to let that part of yourself die off. And now you have a new way of thinking. Same thing with governments, I would think, at least. I don't know anything about governments. I got to be honest. I don't know much. But if one is doing something that's like incredible and another's not, if that one falls, they look to this one that's doing something amazing. They emulate that. They start doing somewhat the same thing, but a couple of things different because, they have cultural differences. So they're doing, some things that are different, but then both move on. Like, it's almost like a tree kind of thing. It's like they branch off. I think.
I'm obviously not suggesting war or anything like that, but I think we want to be a little bit wary of actually cooperating too much. It sounds a little odd, but we want to have some amount of civilizational diversity such that if something does go wrong with some part of civilization, that the whole thing doesn't collapse, and humanity keeps moving forward.
Move this man!
Things certainly got rough for Elon at the end there. I don't know, man. They started booing him. They rushed the stage. Like, it was crazy. I'm kidding, of course. I mean, they were just silent. And honestly, everything that he said fell on deaf ears because the gentleman, I guess the host, you'd say, he kind of just said this holier than thou type of statement, virtue signal. I don't even know what to call it. It's just one of those things where it's like he didn't even try to argue Elon Musk's points. He didn't try to address any of his concerns. He just wanted to leave it at like, well, here.
Thank you. I hear you. I agree and disagree with you at a certain point. And I think, it's today people, they don't fight with sword anymore. I mean, they have nuclear weapons. So if there is this conflict, the whole civilization will be gone. The whole human civilization will be gone. And what we are trying to do here at the Emirates actually is to do exactly what you're saying. We have 180 nationality. You have every single race, every single religion, and we're trying to create a model that shows the world that it doesn't matter who you are, what your color, what's your religion, where you're from, humanity can live in peace and harmony.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great.
Do you see what I mean, though? Like, he was just like, well, I agree, but I disagree. And today people fight wars with nuclear weapons. It's like, but you're all there. All of you are there. Like, and you're all getting along. I don't understand. Why is there this need to further solidify all the governments? If you're all there and you're all applauding for peace and harmony and living together as one, then isn't the problem solved? And I know, obviously, the problem's not that easily solved, and I'm sure not every government in the world or heads of government in the entire world are there. I'm sure it's just, a bunch of people, select people, probably memberships, just like the WEF type of thing. But again, he didn't address any of the concerns. He just kind of said this blanket statement of just like, flowery nonsense. You know what? I won't even say nonsense, because it's a great ideal to have. It's absolutely, actually, it's a fantastic ideal to have. Living in harmony, everybody getting along. But the thing about it is, when you have to become a one world government, there's a certain amount of sovereignty you have to give up as an individual, not just a country, because countries have to give up their sovereignty, and then the individuals in that country have to give up their sovereignty. So it's fun to say peace and harmony for all, but what do we lose in that? Just like it's great to be like, we're going to make everybody safe, right? Like, I'm sure you've heard that before. But what do we have to give over in exchange for that safety? And, I don't want to go further into it because I don't want to sound too crazy, but I'm just saying, like, he didn't address the concerns. He didn't even really try. He just kind of wanted to say something that would get a huge round of applause, and then literally just cut him off and said, all right, let's just move on. Because it's like they could have went deeper into that conversation, but I don't think he would have been able to hold water through that conversation, because Elon's points were really, really sound. If everybody's doing the same thing and one domino falls, then all of a sudden everything falls. It's not even if one domino falls, there'd only be one domino. And if there's only one domino and it drops, what do we do from there? Whereas if there's a bunch of other dominoes that are very solid in their standings, it's like, you fall, boom. Well, maybe you should get up and, we'll help you up. And maybe you should be a little more like us, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You know what? We're not going to be like you, but thanks for helping us up. Like I bring it back to the whole thing of like individuals and not wanting to be in an echo chamber. That whole thing, when you have a conversation with somebody, you have a debate with somebody, and you end up being wrong and you realize that they're right. It's not that you now take on their thinking, it's that you've learned from them. And I think we can do that throughout the world, throughout governments, the same way we can as individuals. Because it's not worth it. What we'd have to give up isn't worth it, if you really think about it. I like my individual freedom. I don't know about you. But anyway, I'm out. Hey, you know what? Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think about a one world government. Do you think that a one world government is like the way to go? Because honestly, like right now, I'm saying it like it's not. And Elon's saying it like it's not. But like, we're not the only opinions that matter, obviously. So what do you think? And if you think that it is a good idea, please let me know. Let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear the arguments. I'd love to go back and forth with somebody. Yeah. And again, thank you so much for all your support. It's absolutely, I can't even say how much it's appreciated. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm out.